From Berkeley, California, welcome to the GCN show.
From the beautiful island of Antigua, welcome to the GCN show.
From La Planche de Bellefille, with a puncture at 83 kilometers, welcome to the GCN show.
Welcome to the GCN show. This week we speculate as to whether e-bikes are set to take over the cycling world, plus we wrap up all of the biggest races from the last 7 days.
And in-race motorbikes are causing yet more controversy. But don't worry, after last week's Peace Edition, this isn't all about controversy. We have a couple of very well-deserved wattage bazookas, some great hacks and bodges, and some very lovely new tech.
Oh, and if you're wondering where Matt is, he is over in Abu Dhabi, his first visit to the Middle East since Dubai in 2014. So let's hope that this time he keeps his t-shirt on. E-bikes are quite controversial amongst many of us cyclists. And let's face it, there can be few things more frustrating in life than watching someone visibly overweight and unfit overtake you on a climb on a mountain bike. At least I'd imagine that would be very frustrating.
Have you got something you want to share, Dan?
No, just somebody else telling me a story.
Oh, yeah, right. For many people, though, e-bikes are great. They take away the worst bits of cycling and leave the best bits. So, for example, you don't need to build up a sweat on your commute to work, and you can carry more stuff, like your kids, or indeed a GCN filmmaker, as we actually found out. Plus, they allow you to ride longer on leisure rides, or they let less fit people keep up with fitter people, or older people keep riding longer, and you still get the sense of freedom, you still get to keep pedaling, you still have an almost silent bike, and you still are doing your bit for the environment. Well, pretty much.
With all that in mind then,
That's a lot of
is it
stuff.
really a surprise that figures are suggesting that sales of e-bikes are going to overtake that of standard pedal-powered bikes in the not too distant future?
Really?
So take Spain as an example. They are seeing 40% year-on-year increases in e-bike sales. And there is, in fact, a country where e-bikes are already outselling standard pedal-powered bikes. And that is the Netherlands, where of course bikes are really a tool and a mode of transport for getting to work or getting to school or even going for nights out. According to a trade organisation in the Netherlands, last year they accounted for 57% of bike sales.
All bike sales?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It really is quite remarkable.
Yeah.
So, are they set to take over the cycling industry?
Well, yeah, to be fair, that has genuinely taken me by surprise. That is a very interesting stat there. Are e-bikes then a good thing or a bad thing? Make sure you let us know your thoughts. My opinion on it, I think, is that if an e-bike gets someone out of a car and onto a bike that still requires pedaling, then that has to be a good thing, right? And from a sporting perspective, I think if we try and take the moral high ground, someone else riding an e-bike, as long as you can see that it's an e-bike, shouldn't affect your enjoyment of your own personal bike ride, I don't think. And also, let's face it, there are plenty of ways to cheat GPS files, if that's your thing.
There are. I mean, I came close to beating the record up the Col de la Madone, I think you
did.
might remember. Although my favourite thing about e-bikes was that I couldn't beat my own Strava record up Old Bristol Road on an e-bike, which I had done on a normal bike.
Yeah, although, Dan, the jury is still out as to whether or not it was your fault or the bike with the hidden motors fault as to whether or not you couldn't break your
I don't think
step.
the jury's still out. I think people know.
Yeah,
anyway, if you are worried about e-bikes potentially ruining our very beautiful sport, we should point out that sales of mid to high-end road bikes only account for a very small percentage of overall bike sales. So we're not suggesting, and those figures aren't suggesting, that e-bikes and e-road bikes are going to be suddenly seen on a load of club runs local to you. Anyway, we'd love to hear your thoughts and your experiences on e-bikes, which you can leave in the comment section down below. Are they a good thing, or are they just another way for the industry to sell more bikes?
Yeah, make sure you do let us know. And before we leave this subject once and for all, given that e-bikes are becoming more and more popular, what is the future for them? Could it be something like this? The Iris e-trike. Oh yeah, take a look at that. It mimics itself on the fastest human-powered vehicles in the world, but it's also got a 750 watt motor thrown in there for good measure. And let's not beat around the bush here, that fairing is going to keep you dry and warm.
Oh yeah.
What a bonus.
The end of windstopper clothing, perhaps.
Yeah.
I can't see Matt in one of those things, though.
No, that's a good point. Although, no one will be able to see him not able to clip in.
Sake.
So that's a bonus,
true.
but
That'll be
perhaps we
hidden from
should
view.
keep Matt out of it because we are actually getting our hands on one to have a little play around with.
Cool.
Oh yeah. It's time now for Caption of the Week. And as ever, first of all, we'll give you the results of last week's Caption competition where the winner gets a GCN Camelback water bottle. The photo we gave you was this one of Jérôme Cousin warming up, and the winner is Harry. No idea what your surname is, Harry, and no idea what you look like because your avatar is just a black blob. But if that's you, then you have won. So congratulations to you. Your caption was this. Hold up, I'm still texting.
I see what you did there.
Genius,
Get
genius.
in touch on Facebook, Harry, and we'll get this bottle to you as quickly as possible. This week's photo is this one of Jens de Busqueret on the floor at the Volta Algarve. I shall get you started with the caption. Greipel told me to go flat out.
That is genius, mate.
I
Grab
knew
yourself
you were
another
gonna say-
bottle. Grab
Yeah,
yourself
good.
another bottle. Yeah, you and Harry, both winners this week. If you think you can give Dan a run for his money, though, and potentially win yourself a GCN bottle, then make sure you put your caption in the comments section down below.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
A new controversy is building among pro cyclists, and to be fair, this is an issue that we can actually get on board with as well. Motorbikes in races, and not for safety reasons this time, but for sporting ones.
Yeah, the UCI have recently released new legislation aimed at both removing the risk that can be associated with motorbikes within races, but also at minimising the effect that they can have on the outcome of races. And although over the last week, thankfully, it seems that the riders have all remained safe, it seems that many of the pros are still concerned about the motorbikes that are allowing other riders to draft behind them.
Yeah, there's been a rash of tweets actually from pro cyclists. Dan Martin was one of the first. Dear at UCI Cycling, rules are worthless without enforcement. Nothing has changed regards motorbikes. Sepp Van Mark then tweeted Dan Martin, or retweeted it, and added his own thing, which was that Ryan Mullin was caught 1.5k from the finish. And he says that the peloton was chasing camera motos for 50k. And he also used the hashtag #NotFair. Tosh van der Sande also tweeted this photo saying this has to stop. You have to buy a telelens, TV motorbikes, or ride on the other side of the road. Although, Dan, you made the point just a moment ago that if the moto was on the other side of the road, most pro cyclists would probably just follow it across the road.
Yeah, I think they would. So I guess it's a two-part thing, isn't it? Motorbikes should try to keep more of a distance, but perhaps amongst the pros, they should decide that if there is a moto just in front of them, maybe don't ride behind it.
Exactly,
But
they
that's
really should, because who would honestly draft behind a motorbike to make themselves look faster?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Bit more. There's a steep bit coming up.
Amstel Gold Race, one of the big World Tour one-day races of the spring. This last week, organisers revealed that they're going to change the parcours, and in particular the finish for the 2017 edition.
More controversy?
Perhaps among
Whoa.
certain riders, we'll get onto that. They have changed the finish, so it doesn't finish up the Coburg anymore, at least over the top of it. The last ascent of the Coburg will come with 19 kilometres to go, and the organisers have done this with the aim of making the race more open, which I actually agree with. It has caused some controversy among
it?
certain riders, mainly the riders, of course, who are very suited to that finish where it was. But I am in agreement with the organisers. I think having the climbs a little bit further out should force those types of riders into attacking a lot earlier, so we should have a more exciting race to watch on TV.
Yeah. Hey, could it be one for Sagan now? Could he get the triple? Flanders, Roubaix, Amstel.
You never know. Actually, given that he will be slightly fatigued, it might entice him to go there, because he's only going to have to get over the last climb in touching distance to the leaders, and he's probably still going to be able to outsprint them at the finish.
That's pretty cool. Certainly one for us cycling fans to anticipate with interest. Now, another seamless segue here. Talking of cycling fans, it's a pretty good sport to follow pro cycling, isn't it? You can get pretty close to the action, either at the side of the road or at the start of races. But one fan in Portugal got closer than most. Somehow he managed to help out the organisers of the Volta Algarve and drove a following car behind Astana's Pello Bilbao. And lucky for Bilbao, it turns out this cycling fan had a megaphone strapped to the roof of his car, and he provided inspirational commentary for every one of the 18 kilometres of his time trial. Check it out, this is brilliant.
Con todo Bilbao, vamos, vamos, ahí está, vamos Bilbao, anda, vamos a tope, é isso Bilbao, anda meu bravo, anda meu menino, anda, e anda bravo Vasco, e olha como eu brilho, e olha como eu vibro, e anda, é isso, 3 km, anda.
That is quite cool. And quite old school, in fact. You used to get the proper teams giving their directions and motivation like that, didn't you?
Can people who speak Spanish understand people who speak Portuguese? Or do you think it was all gobbledygook?
I think it's quite a different language, isn't it? Portuguese always to me sounds like Russian.
Does it?
Yeah, slightly. Anyway, moving on. We shall finish this week's cycling shorts with a call to action, because we think that if you live over in the US, you should really take the People for Bikes survey. People for Bikes being an organisation which aims to make cycling better for everyone, which has got to be a good thing.
Admirable aim.
And this survey aims to compile a data-driven list of cities in the US, should I say, how safe they are, how good the cycling infrastructure is, etc. So that's got to be a worthwhile 10 minutes of your time. So head over there after the show is finished.
Absolutely. And apparently they're giving away a Trek bike as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at random for people who take part in the competition.
Definitely
So
worthwhile.
added incentive, as well as making cycling better for everyone. Dom has chosen an Instagram and a tweet for us this week, and this first one comes from the Bahrain Merida Instagram account. And I can't get enough of this. This is Vincenzo Nibali nailing a one-handed wheelie. Who knew that he could do it?
This almost got into extreme corner.
Yeah, but it makes it look so easy. It's just not even extreme. But genuinely, what a modest chap.
Yeah.
Grand Tour winner,
All we ever
one-handed
see
wheelier.
is Sagan wheeling about. And who would have known that Vincenzo Nibali is far smoother
Yeah.
on one wheel. Very impressive indeed. And the tweet actually comes in from Frenchman Thomas Vauclair. He had quite a nasty accident recently, and he put crash on the first stage, a nasty scratch to my tibia, but it's not quite as bad as it looks, even though it's not pretty. And hats off to our very own Brian Coquard, who won the stage. Does look quite nasty, that, doesn't it? Get well soon, Thomas.
Yeah. I still can't get over Vincenzo Nibali. You know, I've always been a big supporter of Vincenzo, always.
Vincenzo Nibali is not going to make it.
It is that time of the week which we all look forward to, hopefully. It is hack/bodge of the week, and we're going to begin with a couple of updates from last week, and in fact the previous week too. Starting with this from Trog, who said, I was less amazed with the guy who shimmed his BMX bars with rusty nails than how he actually got those bars into that stem. Is he some sort of magician, because there's no gap in the bars? And that is a very good point, and one that we missed out on
Very
last
good point.
week. Presumably leave it open, the gap.
Yeah, maybe
underneath
that's
those.
why he needs to shim with rusty nails, because it actually
presumably.
stretch the clamp on your stem. My word. Well, it's still innovative there, and very innovative.
Yeah, we've also got an update on Simon Morrow's DeLorean. He's been sending us a link to his website, which puts a very large description about his bike. On the handlebars there is a voltmeter, a thermometer, an analog clock, an ammeter, an air pressure gauge, loads more stuff, but perhaps my favourite is this, the World War II Lancaster Bomber map light.
Nice, nice. Well, I was particularly taken with the rear view camera and also the panic switch, which just genius. Every bike needs a panic switch, and it turns out that all this extra kit only adds 18 kilograms to the weight of his bike. So yeah, remarkable. Oh, and heated grips. That one was good, actually.
Yeah, I'd like some heated grips.
Yeah.
There's some insoles that are heated as well or something.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Right, we've got this one as well, which is a video which came in from Callum McDonald. This is a rider named Brandon Hutton. His belt broke on his rollers when he was warming up for a track league, and so he did this. He put his front wheel between, just kind of down a seat. Have a listen.
Genius.
That's definitely a hack.
As you can see, whoever was filming, which might have been Callum, already has deemed that a hack.
Well, sorry.
I think you'll find we are the adjudicators of hack/bodges, and we're going to deem it
a bodge.
A
For
bodge.
sure that's a bodge. A hack would have been to fix the rollers with some ingenious, thing that you found lying around, like maybe a leg warmer or something. But
exactly.
yeah, anyway,
Right,
thanks for sending it in
We've
anyway.
got a historical hack/bodge now. This is from our friend at the channel, John Cannings. And this is Martin Loney, former junior Scottish road race champion, all the way back in 1997. He had an awful accident, which meant he broke his elbow and he couldn't straighten it. So he did this.
That is definitely Well, I mean, initially it looks like a bodge, but it's probably quite an ingenious hack, I suppose. Like, you can't argue with that. And that's 2 pairs of handlebars he's cut off to make that work. So it's not even like a kind of budget hack. That's, 2 pairs of sacrifice handlebars. Anyway, normal service very much resumes with hack/bodge. With this next one, how amazing is that bike? That was sent in by Jack Madison. He spotted it in Copenhagen. I've not got much room for bikes in my house, Dan, but I would make room for one of those.
Well, I've always been a fan of bar ends.
Yeah,
Those are proper bar ends.
But the whole thing's just covered in fur, like a bison bike. I mean, imagine rocking up at the station in the morning and locking that up before you jump on the train to go to work. That's genius.
Hack.
Oh, for sure, a hack.
The next one was actually spotted by our very own Tom Lasty, walking around Bath, spotted this.
That's horrific.
Yeah, that's a definite bodge. It might even be multiple bodges on the same bike.
You've got to look closely, but yeah. What even are those handlebars? Anyway, this one, sent in by Joshua Charles, who said, is your car broken? Is your bike broken? Here's a solution. Put the 2 and 2 together. That's a prop drive bike. That's not a hack or a bodge. I think that's a proper job someone's done.
Yeah.
Genius.
Does that work? Presume it does.
Presumably.
Next up, Van Sloan at GCN Tweet. This is a GCN hack/bodge that was posted by an Amazon reviewer of this saddlebag. That's just fantastic.
That's neither a hack nor a bodge. Yeah. That's just plain wrong.
I mean, there are some viewers out there who hate saddlebags on bikes. And if they were all done like that, I could see why.
Well, to be fair though, it's less visible when you're in the saddle, isn't it? It'd just be hidden by your thighs. Although, imagine the chafage. Oh, imagine the chafage. Right, now the last one this week is sent in by Cycle Co-op, who is midway through spraying up a pair of specialised shoes, presumably for Peter Sagan.
Yeah, rainbow coloured. I'd say hack. I quite like them.
Yeah, well, because those are a reasonably old pair of shoes by the look of them. So yeah, now they look...
Didn't want to experiment on new ones, you see.
Oh, I know, fair enough. Now these are better than new.
Yeah. Don't forget to continue sending in your hacks and bodges because we do absolutely love them all. GCN hack is the hashtag and you can use Twitter, Facebook or Instagram.
Oh, and remember, we decide what's a hack or a bodge.
Yeah. We do love a set of wheels here at GCN, so it was with great excitement that we heard ENVE had released a new set of wheels. These are their revised 3.4s, which are their mid-depth, super lightweight climbing wheels, or in their own words, a climbing wheel with aero advantages.
Now, load of features. First up, they are feathery light. So the rim weight is 432 grams for the front and 439 grams for the rear. They've changed the rim profile, so the rear is now a little bit shallower and the front is a little bit deeper. And they've also got wider. So internally, the rim width is now 21 mil, which makes them, I believe, aerodynamically optimal for a 25C wide tyre now. And then, if that's not all, they're also tubeless compatible as well, which is pretty cool, isn't it?
Does sound interesting.
Now, from wheels, Dan, to a first on the Tech of the Week segment. I've got a present for you.
Ooh,
Check
nice.
it out.
That's cool.
That just arrived in the post.
Yeah, you might recognise these graphics as I do because they come from our good friend Rich Mitch, who is responsible for bringing Domestique to life, as well as our fridge, which is just over in the corner there.
I thought you're a peak down kind of guy, normally, Dan.
Normally, it very much depends on the peak. Anyway, if you like this design, you can head over to his online shop where you'll find this, as well as some other cool things as well.
This week, we get to announce the winner of the, quite frankly, fantastic Maratona de las Dolomites competition, where the winner will get a pair of tickets to the now sold out event, plus accommodation. Right, you ready?
Yep.
Should we do a drum roll?
Okay. That very lucky winner is Martin Parsons.
Oh!
I wonder who Martin's going to take with him to the Dolomites.
Ooh, if you think you're one of Martin's best mates, make sure you send him a text message now.
You might be about to find out you're not one of his best mates. Anyway, we'll be in touch with you, Martin, very shortly via the email that you left in the competition.
Hopefully he's got a partner and then it's just, he can take them and it's fine. And,
Yeah, what if he doesn't take his partner?
Sorry to put you in this awful position, Martin. I hope you can still enjoy your competition prize. Oh dear. Let us know what happens, by the way.
It's been a busy old week of top-level racing, with most of the classic stars and Grand Tour contenders stretching their legs in one race or another. We'll start off with Vuelta ao Algarve in Portugal. There, it was Primoz Roglic of Lotto NL Jumbo who took his first overall stage race win since entering the World Tour around about 14 months ago. The former ski jumper came second on the hilltop finish of stage 2 behind Dan Martin, and then third in the individual time trial behind Jonathan Castroviejo and Tony Martin. So some impressive riding, and that consistency saw him take quite a comfortable win overall.
Yeah. Incidentally, by the way, we should also give a shout out to Dan Martin, who, in taking a stage win at Algarve, took Quick Step's 12th win of the 2017 season, which is not bad given that it's, what, 5-6 weeks old?
Yeah, they didn't take any wins in the Ruta del Sol though, the Vuelta Andalucía. That was very much a battle of the old guard, with Alejandro Valverde just pipping Alberto Contador in his first outing for Trek Segafredo by a single second after 5 days of racing. And that, incidentally, was Valverde's 100th career win. Just mighty impressive. Ominous though from Contador, given that it was his first race. He will now go on and compete in the Abu Dhabi Tour, but apparently he's going to be working there for Bauke Mollema.
All right, good insider knowledge there. Tour of Oman saw a pretty good field lineup, didn't it? And it was Ben Hermans who took but 2 stages and the overall, in fact, which was pretty impressive when you consider the quality of the field. There's also a breakthrough ride for Soren Kragh Andersen, the 22-year-old Danish rider who took Sunweb's second win of the year.
Yeah, notable also though was the performance of, what's his name?
Christoph?
Alexander Kristoff, that's the one. He took 3 of the 6 stage wins, so very much back to his best. And that's quite ominous as well for the classics, which are very much bearing down on us now. Not too long till Flanders and Roubaix, but already this weekend we've got some cobbles coming in the form of Kuurne Brussels Kuurne and also Omloop Het Nieuwsblad.
Het Nieuwsblad is such a cool race, isn't it?
It is, fantastic.
Hopefully the weather's going to be terrible, we're going to get some amazing racing. I'm super excited, man.
Yeah. It's that time of the show where we have a wattage bazooka! Not really, no.
It's probably not worth it.
Okay, this week's pro wattage bazooka goes to Lotto Soudal's Tim Wellens for a fantastic sprint finish from a day-long breakaway on the final stage of the Vuelta Andalucía, where he blasted Simon Clarke into second place. But the whole week he'd been blasting off wattage bazookas left, right and centre. He'd been a day-long breakaway on stage 2, was the last man standing, and the day after that still came in the top 10 of the individual time trial. That is a man on form. He's done 8 race days so far this year and won on 3 of them.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? All right. Well deserved wattage bazooka, in fact, then. Congratulations, Tim. Viewer wattage bazooka time now. We've had some great submissions this week, but this one is going to take the biscuit. The nomination comes in from Graham. Do you know any idea what his surname was?
No.
Graham, thanks to you, Graham. Who's nominated his friend Pat Henry, who he said he's been trying to convince to don race numbers for a while now. He finally went for it. And in his first race, which was actually very local to us, here in Bath, he unleashed a wattage bazooka on the final lap, gapped the field, and took his first win. Better stats than Tim Wellens, in fact. He's got...
one race, 1 win.
Yeah, that's very cool. I hope the momentum keeps going.
Yeah, I'm surprised he is quite keen to continue racing, so best of luck with that. If you've got any nominations for next week's Viewer Wattage Bazooka, all you have to do is use this hashtag here, hashtag Wattage Bazooka, on Instagram or Twitter. So many fantastic comments underneath the videos over the last week, but we've come up with our favourites, starting with this one underneath last week's GCN show from Gravity. He said, Matt's heart at 103 looks like a potato.
It does look like a potato.
You reckon a potato probably would fit in that hole, wouldn't it? Should we try it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Perfect fit. Gravity's completely right. Yeah, I don't know what on earth was he doing? Okay. Yeah, I can do a heart. Look. There you go, Matt. That's how you do it.
Beautiful. Right, moving on. Jack Newman has said, please straighten your jumper strings. To which Ewan Walker has replied, finally someone said it. And Detailing Fanatic says, I'm starting to think they do it simply to annoy us. Jumper gate. Whatever gave you that idea, guys?
it's our wardrobe department's fault. And we've got this one underneath, how fast did the professional riders go, from CRTN. I managed to get to 112 kilometres per hour and everyone was cheering me on. One guy was so happy with me, he started flashing his red and blue lights.
See what he did there? That's quite good. Then finally, we've got this one from Ian Kitchen under the Shimano Dura Race video. He said, black shoes, Black tights and white socks. Smooth criminal. I was channeling my inner Michael Jackson there.
Can you moonwalk? Not even in that outfit.
Well, in that outfit.
Give it a go on next time. Plenty more content coming up for you on the channel this week, starting on Wednesday, where we show you how to sit on a wheel. A vital skill to have. You really want to save as much energy as possible.
If you want to get anywhere in cycling, you learn how to sit on a wheel.
And then on Thursday, we give you our top 5 Maratona Gran Fondo hacks. And Friday, as ever, is Ask GC Anything.
Saturday, we have got a pro bike coming up for you, potentially Adam Blythe's Ridley Noah. Then on Sunday, we try and find out what is the best type of bike for city riding. Dan, Matt and I become delivery riders for the day. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. And then Monday is back in the workshop with Maintenance Monday.
Oh, and then Tuesday. Before we finish with the show, we're going to give a plug to our shop, shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. A recent bestseller is this phone cover, available in 2 sizes, and as you can see, it's clear on one side, so you can actually use it when it's inside the cover. That's me with my son Jude.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so it is.
Like twins.
It's worth heading over to the shop actually, full stop, because a load of items like t-shirts and hoodies that may have been out of stock are now back in stock. We just had a massive delivery. And there's also some new stuff on there as well. So yeah, definitely worth heading over there.
Including some GCN mechanic overalls. Here's the picture of them now. Soon we're going to get Matt to model in one without anything underneath, I think, aren't we?
Yeah, that was suggested.
Actually, we want to sell some, don't we? Leave that out.
It's time now for Extreme Corner, and this week it's a belter, isn't it? This is Jackson Godson. He's one of the most prodigiously talented kids out there. He is 13 years old. Have a look.
Mighty impressive for
Yeah.
his age, you have to say, or for any age really. I couldn't do that for sure.
No, although to be fair, Dan, I mean, it's a long time ago, but I've got a feeling that we were probably doing stuff like that when we were kids, you know.
Yeah, I did the backflip in my time.
Yeah, I thought you might have done. Yeah. Right, unfortunately, that does bring us to the end of the GCN show for this week. Make sure you subscribe to GCN before leaving this video. To do it, it's very simple, you just got to click on the globe.
Yeah, and once you have done that, we've got a couple more videos for you to watch. They're both about bikes of the World Tour, but there's so many bikes in the World Tour, we had to split it into 2 parts. So part 1 is up there, and part 2 is just down there.